Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining, and we'll just leave the waiting room open so people can dribble in as they can. But today is our first in fact this is the first ever practice room studio class that we've done, and I'm excited to start incorporating these on a more regular basis. I think it's really nice for us to have opportunities to play for each other, to learn from each other, and just really kind of have those kind of mini performance deadlines on the calendar that just make us work slightly differently. So well done today to the three of you who were able to get together some very nice performances, some very good recordings, which I know takes time and effort to do. So thank you for doing that work and presenting them very nicely. We've got Kimberly's going to play the slow movement of the Romberg E minor sonata, and then Judy is going to play the first half of the Rachmaninoff Andante, and Janet's going to play the second half. So I thought perhaps we could start with Kimberly's movement of the rondo, and that was sent to you in the attachment today in the email. So if you would like to follow along with her part, you can. There's a cello score that I included in that email. Um, you're kind of you've got that. Everyone's good with having that music if you want it. Great. Okay. So this is a beautiful piece of music. I'm not sure how familiar you may be with it. Perhaps, Kimberly, do you want to tell us anything about it? Have you worked at all on the other movements, or like whereabouts are you with this?
Yes, I've worked on all three, and I think Romberg was a cellist.
He was.
And if you look at your fingerboard, if you have the type of fingerboard where there's a definite like bend between the G and the C string, that's called a Romberg. Apparently, he was the person that came up with the idea of doing that. And
Amazing.
um, I've every cello I've had has had that. And that when I got this cello, it didn't have it, and I had to take it back to the luthier and say, "Please give me that." And I only in the last 6 months learned about the fact that it's called a Romberg. Um, I don't know much about him other than he's a cellist and he's a bit of a sadist because the rondo, the third movement to this, is it's a lively 6/8, but then he has these idiot passages in the middle of 16th notes that just come out of the blue that if I live to be 105, I probably will never get them up to speed. But because I could play the rest of it at a lively tempo, but when I get to the 16th notes, it's like, oh yeah, all bets are off here. It's not happening. Um, he did throw a little bit of that into the middle of this, the Andante. There's a little 30-second note bit, which is like, why? Um, so anyway, yes, I have played the entire thing. The third movement, though, is if I play it at a tempo, I can play those fast notes. It's not a rondo; it's more like a death march.
Just keep working with Sophie.
Oh,
Never say never. Never say never.
never say never.
True.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's actually I thought you played it really, really beautifully, and I love the fact that you found the piano recording too, Kimberly. So let's have a listen. This is the Andante, the second movement, and also thanks for sharing that about the Romberg. I didn't know that he was actually the one attributed for creating that. Did you know that? Anybody else?
I think it's vaguely familiar. Do they call it the Romberg bevel? Maybe that it's a
Yeah,
bevel,
that's
right?
Yeah, because I love
exactly.
that. I love that. I also tried once without and was like, oh no. Now I'll know to say, give me my Romberg.
Yes, give me my Romberg bevel back.
Yeah. What splendid. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we'll have a listen. And please, again, feel free to follow along with that score that I sent out. Right, here we go. Make this big. And there we go. Okay, all ready to go. And if you just want to maybe put yourself on mute while we're listening to this, then we don't have to worry about any background sound. Thanks, guys. Unmute for the applause. Unmute for the applause. Yay! Brava! Brava! Well done, Kimberly. It was really lovely. Really lovely. So maybe do you want to share anything with us before we give you some feedback about how you felt about it? Anything that you particularly liked? Anything that you felt you were concerned about?
I always, when I see my bow arm on video, I always think my bow arm looks really tight. And it seems like, I feel like when I play, that it's relaxed and flowing like this ballet arm. And then I see it on video and I look like I'm, rigor mortis. Um, I'm easily distracted by outside things. A golf cart went by on our street while I was recording, and I see it go by frequently, and it's like, where does that go? That thing is not even street legal. Where is it? And then it's like, get back to you're playing music. Stop it. So I can be distracted if something outside my window, if a coyote goes by or something. I mean, always when I hear myself play, it's like, oh, I could have played that better. Oh, that wasn't in tune. Oh.
Do you do much listening, like recording yourself, and generally, is that something that you do?
I do sometimes. I'll play around with GarageBand, and sometimes I play it back, and it's like it's time for a new hobby. And other times it's like, well, maybe it's a little better, or, maybe this is coming along. So
Yeah, it's great that you're doing that. I mean, I think it's so interesting to me. I'm really trying hard to kind of push the self-recording because from my own experience, it's been so helpful. And also what I see is when people start to get on that train and do it more regularly themselves, even though there's always the initial, oh my gosh, I thought it was so much better. Everybody does it, right? Then there's like this really quick, very, steep learning improvement that happens, and it's really quite astounding actually how consistent that is. Like it's so I think if we're I think that's probably true for a lot of life, right? Like if we're able to kind of stomach the truth, actually then we can do something about it more than when we kind of are like, yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's like, yeah. So anyway, I'm not surprised that you are recording it because I think that there's a lot that's really great about what you're doing. Any comments from others for Kimberly before I give a little bit of feedback? Yeah, feel free to just speak up. Yeah, Linda.
Hi, Kimberly. I don't think we've met. I haven't been on the practice room very often in person. I listen live. Um, but
Changing that
I just
scene.
wanted to say I thought you played that really well. I thought your intonation, your rhythmic sense, the musicality, it was really good. So
thank you.
sharing it, yeah. Now I wanted to give you feedback around your bow arm because I saw what you think. No, I saw what you see when you watch your recording, which is it looks like, and hopefully Sophie will have some feedback around this. It looks like your bow arm is tight, and sometimes at the down bow, the transition it has a nice transition. You're moving nicely, and sometimes you're sawing at it. And I'm saying that because I went through it too. I'm still go through it. I have to remind myself and do lots of exercises to loosen up the bow arm and keep my wrist flexible. So I just wanted to affirm your sense of that you are doing that some of the time, not all the time, but some of the time. And also I wanted to say that you hit those 30 seconds really nicely. I mean, I think you have a lot of potential to play those very fast. It's always a challenge. So yeah, keep at it. And I agree with Janet. Just stick with Sophie. You'll get those two things worked out. No problem.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Linda. Any other thoughts to share?
I'll just say that we are our own worst critic, and we hear all the things that we want to improve, but other people really don't hear it. And I just want to say it was well done and I enjoyed it. And I'm like, oh, what a nice piece. And then you're like, and this and this and this. I'm like, oh, you're right. Yeah, now that you mention it. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I just want to say relax because I think the worst part is just recording it and you did it and it was well done. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's funny because we were meant to be talking about like posture, form, and shifting, and then I feel like as soon as we go into a studio class, well, I guess everything could be related to that somehow, but there's other things that kind of perhaps stand out as well. I really felt like you actually had a lovely freedom in your bow arm. I really appreciated your sound, the way you were using the full bow, and keeping a good contact. That said, I do think that perhaps this relates a little bit to this idea of perhaps, I think maybe what Linda was feeling was a little bit of choppiness. She sort of mentioned at the frog, and I think that actually may be, there's sort of different ways that you can approach that. One is just to work on bow changes, but perhaps a more musical way is to think about the line more. And what I did feel, even when we started with the metronome beats, was a little bit of beatiness, that you were very much kind of feeling 1, 2, 3. And it's very easy to do that, and it's not a bad thing to do, especially when you start working on something and for some time. But I think you're at the point where you could easily get away from that now. And even though it's slow, think more about longer lines. Again, that's harder to do with these slow, long passages. But for example, in that first bar, we're really going to the G, and it keeps going to there. So it's really 4 bars. It's a 4-bar phrase. It's not. I'm exaggerating, but. Right, so again, I'm really exaggerating, but and I think that part of the line, sustaining the line and feeling the line more, does have to do with bow technique and sustaining in the upper half of the bow more deliberately. Obviously, that's something that you can practice with open strings, just being close to the bridge, making sure that when you get to the upper half of the bow, you maintain the same amount of sound here that you had in that. Because what we tend to do is this. And everybody does it, and we do it without realizing. So, if you take this first note, careful that you don't go and diminuendo, but rather go to the E, go to the G, go to the next. So every down bow leads to the up bow. Down to up, down to up. And then you naturally keep the line too. So there's kind of like a technical underpinning to keeping the line, where the down bow has that sustain in the upper part. Do you want to try maybe playing that first line, just what I just did, and see if you can just be a little bit more aware. Let's see if you can be a bit more aware of keeping the sound in this part of the bow, so that you have that long line. Oh, actually, Kimberly, I don't think your original sound is on.
Oh, quite possible. Let's see, where is that more?
Oh, Kimberly has IT background, so she just goes
7.
boop, and it's done. Everyone else is like, oh.
Original sound. There it is. Okay. Okay. Try again.
Okay, good. Can you turn your camera down a little bit so I can see your bow properly? And do you mind taking the earpods off, because I think it's affecting the sound that we're getting of the cello. I think we're getting the sound of the cello through the earpods.
Oh, you definitely are. Yeah.
I can hear you well, but the cello not so well. Perfect. Thanks.
Turn the sound up.
Sometimes the original sound turns off.
Oh, now I can't really hear you all.
Oh,
Can somebody say something?
hello. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Testing, testing.
We can hear you.
Okay. Can you
How
hear?
about now? Is that better?
I can barely hear you all. That's why I usually use the earpods.
Okay. Well, what if you were to? Do you mind play? Is it going to be a pain to kind of switch in and out? If it is, we'll just go with the earpod sound. And
Yeah, I can do it. Hang on, let me. All right. Just get everybody in the ready.
But what I could hear through the earpods already sounded good. Maybe you could also just maybe can you sing that melody once? But yeah, let's sing it. I'll sing it with you. I'll sing it, and you can just kind of sing along as we go. So here we go.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a thing you just said.
I said, actually, could we try just singing the melody together once? Just don't worry about it. Just keep the earpods on. It's fine for now. But let's try singing it together. I will sing it, and you can just kind of sing along. But I want you to kind of notice how you're singing. So here we
Okay.
go. Da,
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 da, da,
da,
da,
da,
da,
da,
da, da, da, da.
Okay, good. And there we have our lovely Zoom lag. Good. But can we let's do it again, and this time let's try and make it as seamless as possible. As we sing, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna kind of, because basically we've got an arch shape, right? The melody goes da yum dum da dee and then we've got one little A, but basically just the D. Da da dee da dee da. Okay, so here we go. Dee
Dee,
da
da, 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 da.
Okay, good. So let's try playing now, thinking about that shape. Yes, good, good. Now you've got a choice. That was already a lot better. You've got a choice here. Do you want it to be kind of like feel like two bars of two, like 2 + 2?
That's kind of how I feel like it. Like there needs to be like a tiny bit, like a question and answer between the first two bars and then the second two. That's
Okay,
why I
I love
always
it.
feel like
Yeah.
I paused there before I do the A, D,
Okay,
C,
great,
B.
great. I love it. Do you want the third bar to have an accent on the downbeat?
Um, Not super
Okay.
accented.
Do you feel like the third and fourth bars have got a slightly different character to the first and second bars?
Yeah, maybe a little bit softer.
Or like you said, just the kind of question answer thing. Okay,
Yeah.
let's try it again. Can you play it thinking about that? This idea. So not too much of an accent on the third bar, and then this idea of a question and an answer. Yes, good. So what I noticed is that because you're using your beautiful full bows, it means that when you get to the third bar, you've got a whole bow to go, which makes it very hard for it not to be emphasized. So
Okay.
something there needs to change. Either you need to use less bow or just be lighter on it. Maybe less bow for all of bars 3 and 4. So maybe you can start here, but just don't use the full bow. For example, do you want to try that? See if you like it.
Oops. Sorry.
Yeah, let's try putting it together so you've got the whole 4 bars. Yeah, I like that. How did it feel to you?
Um, I always, whenever I'm really, really focusing on bow distribution, then I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm running out. I'm running out. Oh no. Oh no. So
it feels
it
foreign. Yeah.
until it becomes second nature. It's always a case of,
Yeah, although
panic.
it's interesting, Kimberly, because you obviously feel the music. You've got a lovely sound, so I think you could probably afford to be a bit more experimental and kind of just trust a little bit more. Like allow yourself to go into that sort of no man's land a bit more and see see what you like. Just kind of really, and it's obviously it's harder to do in a situation like this on your own. Hopefully, you could do it more. Um, that, and then this idea of the line. So even in the next two bars, you've got, it's not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, but rather it's all of these notes, the chromatic ascent, climbs up to here, and then away, and then the next one again climbs up to here. So basically, we're figuring out the direction of the music. Where does each phrase go, and how long do we want to make the phrases? Again, I think you're playing it at a really lovely level where you can really enjoy now the fruits of your labor and kind of think this way, right? Like be like, well, what do I want to say with it? Where is the music going? Where's the question and answer? And maybe a lot of these things are already there. You just perhaps are not bringing them out enough. Maybe you've already thought about a lot of this. By the way, your A up here, your vibrato is beautiful on the A. Every time.
Thank you.
I was like, that, yeah, like whatever you're doing. So know that and like use that as your kind of template, right? If you want to find beautiful vibrato on a different finger or in a different note, come back to that one and be like, that's my model. Can I get that somewhere else? Yeah, so... Yeah, and I think that really you're doing great. I think that maybe some of the things that I will mention to Judy and Janet might also benefit you as well. But thank you again for recording, brava, and
Thank you.
yeah, I look forward to
Thank
hearing
you.
you again, hopefully soon. So great. Okay, so let's, in the interest of time, go to Judy's first half of the Rachmaninoff. So we're going to hear the whole of the Rachmaninoff and Dante in two parts, and Judy is playing up until the treble clef, basically. Okay, so if you want to grab your score for that, and Judy and Janet were both very brave because they obviously have only really been working on this for the last couple of weeks. So I was really impressed with how quickly, especially Judy, who hasn't been playing for so long, was able to get this together. So here we go. Judy, remind me how long you've been playing for now? Go, yeah, sorry, Judy, can you just let us...
11 years.
11 years, yeah, so not that long, actually.
No.
Okay, all right. There we go, thank you. Yay, bravo. And I just love the smile at the beginning and the end. So lovely. So, Judy, do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience so far in learning this piece and any thoughts about how you did in the recording?
This piece has a lot of triplets in it, and so sometimes when I think so much about the rhythm, then I forget about the dynamics and everything else. And then sometimes if I'm thinking about how I feel about it and I just let go of my feelings, then I screw up and mess up the rhythm. It probably will come with time when I've played it longer. And then I think that my intonation was off on some of those notes, and that irritates me because I try hard for intonation, but I can say that at least majority of the notes were in tune this time, so that's better than it was. And I really liked the piece a lot. It was an excellent piece for Sophie to choose for us because of the slides and, you know, going back and forward, because there's quite a few of them. And so I think it's something that I can learn a lot from. I really enjoy it,
Great.
and I'm learning a lot from this piece. I probably would do better if I would listen to it on a recording from somebody more and play it with someone else, and I might would get a few of those notes right that I'm off a little bit on. But anyway, it's coming along. I plan to keep working on it with Sophie in our private sessions because I know she can help me with it. What irritates me is I want to be able to sound so beautiful, like I hear people sounding like Sophie sounding and all of you sounding, and I don't quite, I think I'm sounding that way when I'm by myself, and then I hear myself, I'm like, oh crap, it's not there yet. But I think it's gonna come with little increments maybe.
It already is. And Judy, don't forget, you've only been playing this for a couple of weeks. So it's really, I think as you, if it's a piece that you want to work on seriously, that would be great. But, I think we need to give ourselves a kind of realistic timeline as well. Right now, this is all work in progress, for this piece, and obviously, and it's, I think maybe a realistic timeline to actually get something to a place where you feel really comfortable and like you're able to be present in it. Probably 6 months, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so hopefully that makes you feel a bit better about
It does.
versus 2 weeks. So any feedback from others about for Judy?
One thing I want to say is that especially line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where you've got just a continuous string of B flats. It's hard to make a piece like this interesting, and I guess a lot depends on what's going on with the piano, but this is not an easy piece it just doesn't start off the bat with like a really, snappy melody, 3 E flats in a row or B flats in a row. It's like, okay, where are we going? You, my only, my comment would be that you just didn't look like you were totally relaxed, like you were a little tense while you were playing. Understandably, because you've got a camera rolling, and I know all too well what that's like. But otherwise, you kept it going, and it's not an easy piece, and you did a really nice job with it.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Thanks.
You're right. I just had gotten off a stretch of working 7 long shifts in a row. And so I was very, very tired last night, but I kept working on it at night after hours, to try to get it good enough. But anyway, I'm always very intense when I play. And it shows on my face because I look at it and I'm like, dear God, I look like I'm 100, but it's okay.
You do not look like you're 100. That's so funny.
I know the feeling. I just kind of like, should I just like, play? It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
But
when
thank you.
yeah, and it's also when you're thinking about something completely different, and it's like, well, should I be thinking about my face? Like that doesn't seem like something I should be thinking about, but with everything else going on. Yeah, I think just like being keep that sort of jaw awareness, freedom here is really big in keeping a sort of any sort of facial thing. So any funny thing that we do with our face, and we all do it, does have to do with some manifestation of tension somewhere going on that we probably don't want. So, you can be like, well, don't do that with my face, but actually probably there's something underlying going on that is more what we need to address, and that will help that if you feel like that you've got some tension there. These 3 eighth notes are very tricky. I think whenever we have anything repeated, we want to create variation, we want to find direction. Generally, if it's the same note, there's often a sense of accumulation, right, that we go to the final B flat. I think we mentioned that in a previous meeting. So there's that direction to the last B flat, and then also it's always tricky when you have these pickup notes on the same bow. And that's something actually I noticed for both the recordings. I noticed this with Janet a bit too. That it's really it's just so hard to know how to practice having each eighth note being separate but also part of one motion, because these are all going here, they're all going to the down bow, but we can't go and have 3 separate kind of impulses like that. But we also need them to be separate. We don't want to go, because then you don't hear the 3 properly as well. And that tends to be what happens, is that we're like, okay, you can't really hear 3 separate notes. So working on that so that we have that sense of 3 separate eighth notes is definitely a big challenge and something that we should work on. At the same time as feeling like it's within one motion. Ta, 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 ta. I do feel there's a little bit of sense of breathlessness though that you can have that can actually be helpful, and the breathlessness kind of manifests itself in forms of a mini retake. So you can go and then either a complete retake or that's maybe a bit too much. So you just kind of have the feeling of it when the bow slows down, and it's still meant to be within a forte, so it can't be that soft. Really have to experiment with it. But another thing that I wanted to mention, and I think this is true for all of us, it's something that Janet and I talked about actually yesterday, and it's kind of one of my recent obsessions, so I'm going to share it with you all, is just this thing of allowing this is especially for the vibrato, for sensitivity with the vibrato, and again for Kimberly and everybody, I think actually for all of us, but being aware that when the string resonates, it's not just resonating here, right? Obviously, when we play, we feel a certain buzzing, resonating going on in our fingers because of the string in this hand. But if we have a stop note, like the B flat, we're also really feeling the string resonate. It's very different, the way the string feels when I don't play compared to when I play. And that's fun to just like that. That's an awareness thing that I don't think we tend to think about that much. But I think if we do, it creates another level of sensitivity. It creates another level of synchronicity between the hands as well. So feel free, if you have your cello, to just like try that now. Like just putting any note, just on the fingerboard. Obviously, sort of like dead. There's nothing happening, and then just be aware as you put the bow to string of what happens, how it feels in the left hand. And that can also be a great way into experimenting with how much weight you and it can be a great way to experiment with how much weight you're going to put into the left hand, and realizing that we don't have to squeeze the left hand. Actually, the left hand can be quite a lot lighter than we think. So maybe let's take out this bowing issue for now, and let's just do up, down, up, just to kind of, so that we can focus on the left hand a bit. So maybe, Judy, if you want to go, let's do it once without any vibrato, just up, down, up, so that you can just take a moment to really feel that vibrating. If you want to take yourself off mute, Judy. If anybody else wants to follow along and do the same, please feel free to. But Judy, if you'd like to come off mute so we can hear you, thanks.
I wasn't wanting anybody to hear me, but okay. Just making it.
Good. Okay. Now, do you feel that in your left hand, in your finger?
Yes.
You're feeling the vibrating string. Okay. Try it again. This time, just experiment with pressing a little bit less, but still feeling the vibrating, just to kind of see how much do you actually need to press that B flat to make it sing.
With no vibration.
No vibrato yet. Okay, great. Now see if you can let that sense of the finger resonating with the string lead the vibrato. So we're going to start without the vibrato again, and just do lots of B flats like this. And as you go, gradually let that sense of the vibrating finger lead the vibrato. Yeah.
I can still do it, just pressing it down about 75%.
Okay. Okay, good. So the other thing about the vibrato is that we all tend to do this. Right, basically what we're doing is it's a bit narrow and it's a little bit backward rather than the full forward backward motion. This is where the exercise that Brinton Averill Smith gave us was really good, where he went forwards, back, da, 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 da. And his point was you only need to do that once or twice, and immediately your vibrato changes. Do you want to try it?
That what you mean?
Yes, exactly. Okay, and now can you go back to just some non-vibrato, and then gradually let yourself vibrate, but remember that wider motion when you do it. Yes, okay, good. Can you let your elbow hang back and down a bit more? Yeah. That's better. Yes. So we're trying to so that you're feeling the vibrato more through the whole arm, not just this bit, not here, but really a bit further down, like
Linda's the expert at vibrato.
Can you drop the elbow a little bit so it feels a little heavier? Imagine that you've got a straight line going from the middle finger, second knuckle, all the way down to the elbow. Straight line.
Oh, on up.
So the middle finger. Yes.
Is that more like it?
It's a little bit better, yes. So we're basically, and it wasn't meant to be a vibrato lesson, but it kind of back manner enough, it's hard not to. So just what we want is all of this needs to feel more like one. So it's going to feel a bit different. It's going to feel like you're taking your control away a bit because you're used to manipulating it here, and I'm asking you to feel it much lower down in the arm, much further back. The control is much further back. Not a showy vibrato. Right, we're not looking for a showy vibrato. It's a discreet one, but it's coming. Yes, that's better. Yeah, so you've got the whole forearm going. Good. Drop the elbow a little. Drop the elbow a little. Yes. Yeah. Can you open up the non-playing fingers? Relax them. relax the non-playing fingers as you do it. So don't no kind of, but. Yeah, so I would if you when we work on this more, Judy, I think that using it as an opportunity for vibrato exploration would be really great. There was one shift that stood out to me when you. It's the tricky one in the middle. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 systems down where you have. That one. That seemed tricky. I wonder, can you just play just that? Yes, and I just felt like I should say that because we're talking about posture and form. You were a little bit like this with your hand position.
Let me see where you are, Sophie. Oh, I'm gonna look
Rather
at
than this.
Oh, come down right there. Okay. Oh, let's see. I don't remember what finger I'm supposed to be on. Oh.
So you'll be on a first finger on the F, and then 3. Can you just play the B flat?
The B flat.
Can you bring your thumb more this way, like on the side of the cello, but more? So right now it looks like it's very close to the fingerboard. Could you try to bring it over here?
Let me see if I can just put you on and still let everybody where I can see better. Oh, you want? I don't know how to do that.
That's okay. I'll come closer to the camera for you. Okay, so can you try to have your thumb, instead of having it back here, can you bring it over here?
Oh, okay, and on the cello itself.
Yeah. Is your thumb over here? Not here, here.
Okay.
Yes. Now, you see your hand position? That's the hand position that you want. Yes, that's the hand position. That's why I put the thumb there, because it keeps the hand position the same.
I thought I had to have it up next to the neck, so that's a lot easier for me. I can reach it better.
Awesome. Great. Done. Perfect. Yeah.
It's a lot. Thank you.
Well done. And Judy, I have to say that there's so much about the shifting, which I know you've really worked on. The shifts look good, and generally the posture looks good, open chest, and I see you, lifting the chest and stuff. So yeah, really lots and lots of good strides forward. Bravo. Okay, so sorry, Janet, we're running out of time. Let's have a look at Janet's beautiful rendition of the last part, which is she kind of drew the short straw there, or rather was asked to play the trickiest part at the end, and it's especially a really difficult bit to just jump in at. So she actually did. She in typical Janet creative mode made her own recording of the piano part. So she kind of, I don't know exactly how she played with it, but she made her own sort of tempo recording.
I actually didn't. I can't take
didn't?
credit. No, this one I just found.
Bravo.
Jorge Nava is his name. He puts a lot of things out there, and he seemed to match very well. There was other choices, but his was, I could kind of almost follow him.
Could you share his name with us? Would you mind putting it in the chat?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, all right. So, and here is Janet with the guy she's writing in the chat, playing piano. Ya ba ba da 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 ya ba ba da 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 da. Bravo, beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous sound, lovely. Janet, how do you feel about it?
It was harder than I thought. It was pretty hard to put together. The rhythm,
Yes.
the rhythm. And,
Yeah, the 2 against 3 is
yeah,
really,
but it was a great experience. I spent a lot of time, did a lot of takes, more than I normally do, and a lot, right? Like
I
sometimes
don't
it's
mean to
like,
laugh.
no, but
I
like how many is a
get
lot?
that.
I don't know. Like for me, sometimes it's like 3 takes. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. But this felt more like about 12, you know. So the good experience was I worked from the score, trying to get it together with the piano part, and it wasn't happening. And there were a lot of places where I know I was not with the piano, and I just don't know the piano part well enough. But it was really a great experience. I'm so glad I did it because, you know, when you're up here in the treble clef, you're like, oh, this is my big moment. I'm in treble clef. No, it's the piano. The piano has the melody at that point. I guess maybe it's a counter melody a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but that was a great learning experience. I had not thought of that thing you mentioned about the 3, keeping the 3 B flats, you know, distinct. Hadn't thought of that at all, so I really appreciate that. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Do you have the score there by any chance?
I I have, yeah, the piano part.
So, and you have page numbers at the top.
I think so. Yeah.
On page 32,
Yes.
third system down.
Yeah.
This is the first bar you've got. So this is in the middle of all your treble clef 8th notes. You have right. Do you know where
Yes.
I am?
Yep.
The last beat you were dragging on, so that was where you came unstuck basically. So watch out for that last beat in that bar.
In that particular bar, or did I
yeah.
do it when that part happens
was-
kind of twice, right?
Yeah, it was mainly there. That's what got you off, and then in the next bar you need to listen for the piano part downbeat because the piano's got 2 against 3, so the piano part is going. And you need to listen to, so you've got you need to hear the downbeat, and then against that da 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 da. But if you hear the downbeat strongly, that will help because it's mainly because of that tie that it's confusing that you've got over the measure line there.
Right. And
With the
this
G.
is I think I lost you when you were saying against 2 against 3 in the piano part. Is that which system again?
That's throughout most of it. So like if you look if you look at the piano right hand, the piano has got bum, 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 ya-dee-da, where you start in treble clef. The piano is playing that.
Okay.
Right.
And you need to be really subdividing in those eighths. Bum, bum, so you're feeling da-da-dee-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba, ba-dum, ba, ba-dum, ba-dee-dee-dee-da-da. Ba, ba, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba. 1, 2, 3. So you've always got the 2 against 3.
Okay, so what you're doing just now is you're singing the triplets and clapping 8th notes.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
you
need
could,
some.
if you put the metronome on at the 8th
I
note.
need some help.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. I didn't think I could do that. Like I still am doubtful that I could ever do that, but
You could definitely,
but I will
definitely
try.
do that. You could definitely do that.
I will
have
try.
no doubt. Yes.
metronome's gonna click
Yeah.
and I'm gonna sing. Okay.
Yep. Or play,
Okay.
whichever. Yeah.
All right.
Either one. Just
Okay.
as long as your feet. Yeah, and just be aware of in the piano part or your part where there's a tie because that makes then you've lost the beat and it's hard if you don't feel it strongly. So wherever you have a tie, and this is true in music in general, like whenever there's a tie, you need to feel that hidden beat. That's what Tatsumi, my wonderful Japanese teacher, used to say. So there's a hidden beat there, and you have to feel that even more strongly than the regular beats.
Yeah,
Because it's,
right.
um,
That's great.
awesome.
Okay. Hidden
I
hidden beat.
Hidden beat, yeah. I was lucky to study this with Menahem Presler actually when he
Wow.
yeah, he was the founder of the Beaux-Arts trio, and when I was in Bloomington, I played it with one of his students, and we went for a couple of lessons on it actually. And he was Menahem Presler was like this tiny guy, well, not quite that tiny, but he was small and really small, and had just absolutely beautiful player. Played with all these, played with these wonderful violinists and cellists. But what was really special about him was that he just he was so he loved music, and it was so precious to him, and he was very adamant that pianists should not overpower the string players, especially the cellists. So he was very sensitive to that. And with this piece, like, he was like, well, yeah, it says forte, but you don't have to play. It's like, it's more about the character, and this kind of, he was always looking for this kind of sweetness. He was much more about the sweetness than anything else. Like, he would sort of do these little kind of hand gestures, and it was very, very intimate playing. Everything about his playing was very covered, beautiful, just aware of balance, chamber music, just really special, amazing musician. And I think with this piece, continuous vibrato in general is a great one to experiment with, Janet, when you get to that climax in the penultimate line of the cello score, right, where it's fortissimo there. You can experiment more with vibrato. Definitely, I would suggest doing some of that Brinton Averill Smith, kind of making sure that you've got the really round vibrato going up and down, and experiment with going faster sometimes. Really be like, I would make that the kind of focal point. At least experiment with that, I would suggest. And then the continuous vibrato in the treble clef, when you have any shift, that's where the continuous vibrato is easily going to fall down. Like here, when you go from 2 to 1 or 1 to 4, that's where the continuous vibrato is probably going to stop, and instead of having continuous vibrato, we're going to stop. Stop. So we have to be really careful to keep the vibrato going on the note before the new position. Keep this one going into the 1. Keep this one going into the 4. So you're always being aware of that change. That will help, because it's this is a very Menahem Presler type place as well, just like so ethereal. It's almost like you're not quite there. Mm-hmm. You could play around with feeling the resonance in the finger as well, mm-hmm. and like, do I need to use that much vibrato? Could I use less? But I think, the 2 against 3 score work is going to give you the most grounding, and then the vibrato would be like a fun topic for this piece.
Could you show us just a picture of the score so I can buy it?
Oh, it's actually in the scores that I provided, Judy. So it's the very first one. So if you click on the link that I sent in this morning's
okay.
in all of those reminder emails, it's where it says Rachmaninoff scores, and it will just come up on your computer as a digital file immediately.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Is it the whole piano part that you're looking for, though, or did you want to have? I didn't know if Sophie had the entire sonata.
Show it to me, and I'll make a picture.
Yeah.
You use
What you had-
the Leonard Rose.
Yeah, that's the one I'm using for
Yeah.
the Beethoven thing I'm doing right now. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so
Is that
much.
good? You got it?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Is that the one you
And
use also?
I would
Sophie?
like to say about Janet, if you don't mind, is your bow hand, you're able to move your wrist, and I haven't gotten there yet. I've tried really hard. I think I'm getting closer to getting there, but when you're able to pivot, it makes a difference, you know, and I just am in awe of that.
I hope I'm not doing it too much, though.
No, I'm saying that bragging on you, not saying I'm just in awe of it.
Yeah. Um, Thank you.
You,
I,
Janet, you must have like Superman eyes because I'm looking at the score and I don't see how on earth you could even see that line of music. It's so tiny.
at times I couldn't really see it, and that was part of why I had to do 12 takes because I had worked it all out with the cello. I worked it all out with the cello part, and I had all kinds of great fingering. And then when it came time to try to just record it, I said, "Forget the fingering. I'll be happy to try to just keep up with the piano." But
Wow.
yeah, I think Sophie and I do a lot of discussion about memorizing things. That'll teach you to memorize when you can't see it anyway. You know, just can't see it, so I have no choice but to try to memorize it. You know.
Well, one of my many takes, because I too did several takes before I was like, okay, I'm happy. And I always think that the next one I would do would be like the best, would surpass them all. And I don't know why I think that something magical would happen. But um one of the takes I did, I looked and I was just like, had this like death stare at the music the whole time. And it's like, well, now that's attractive. So it's like, all right, you know this piece, play it. Just turn the put, don't just turn the iPad off. You know this. You could play it. Well, I got like two measures into it. And suddenly I was like, no, I can't. I need the music. So
Yeah.
trying to, because the worst thing is if you look away because the golf cart's going by and then you lose your place and
Yeah.
you can't find where you were.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. My husband needed to use the space. He's a violin maker and he runs machines sometimes, and I saw him hovering. And at one point I said, I just can't, I can't do it, I can't do it, you know. So between taking too much time and him kind of hovering, and I couldn't have that on my head, you know, thinking that I have to do this quickly, you know, it was really a lesson for me in like how much like quiet time you really need, like focus time without anybody bothering you or anybody
Hmm.
driving their
Hmm.
golf cart or
Yeah.
it's intense. It's very intense. I think we underestimate sometimes how much it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just to do another plug for the Dr. Molly Gabrian neuroscience research, she's talked a lot about memory, and she really advocates all the data supporting that it's so helpful to start memorizing from day one. So rather than being like, oh, it's a new piece, okay, I'm just going to sit with it for a few months, you know, on my score, to actually be like, hey, day one, right, can I memorize the first two bars?
Right.
That's right. Or the last two bars, or yeah, and
Right? Why not? Why not? What are we waiting for? You know, I think we're all just kind of glued to the page
yeah.
for no good reason because it's possible to memorize a measure or two measures, first two measures.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, we're always just kind of that stretch, like we're the stretch rather than the comfort zone. So thank you so much everybody for
Thank you.
coming and being here and supporting and playing, and and have a great St. Patrick's Day. And
Thank you. Thanks everyone. See you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.